Kia ora, good evening. Hundreds of aftershocks in the nation on high alert as the clean-up continues for many small communities around Canterbury after the latest major earthquakes to hit the region. The Huranui District Mayor has also called for a local state of emergency in the area following the 7.5 magnitude earthquake that was 15 kilometres deep and just after a striking midnight this morning. The tsunami risk has been lifted, but Civil Defence is urging people to stay well away from the eastern coastline as a precaution. Landslips have seen main highways closed and 2 people have been confirmed dead. The quake was one of the strongest in more than 7 years.
A community in clean-up mode, but banding together to stay strong. This damage in Culverton is only minor compared to what some are dealing with today. A slip on the road into Hanmer Springs has stopped this tourist couple dead in their tracks, planning to head north to escape the chaos.
We came up last night from Christchurch and we'd kind of intended to push on for another 45 minutes, which would have taken us right into the heart of...
Is it Cheviot? So we were planning to Cheviot.
So we would have ended up in Cheviot, but we decided not to do that.
State Highway 1 heading to Kaikoura is a mess. A landslide from the shake blocking the road, ripping the rails from their tracks. State Highway 7 to Hanmer Springs remains closed. The small community of Waiau, population just over 300, is sticking together. It's all they can do when their town is broken.
This is a really resilient community. There are some really good people and they're stepping up. The school is becoming a welfare centre. They've got a barbecue going already. The fire brigade's out there doing all the stuff. So they've already made a start.
Oh, devastated. This is, the history of this area. All Saints Church, and it looks to have gone. My 2 daughters got married here. This is our church. Yeah.
The whole house was just sort of, being torn, sort of almost like a saw. It's going to and fro.
While we're talking, another earthquake strikes.
That was twice what we had last night.
So we're trying to make sure that we have somewhere where we can exit really quickly and it's safe, and which is why all of our family are staying together, and we don't have to be running around the village looking for everybody. And just
They'll stay in their garage for a while until it's safe to go back inside and when they're ready to face the clean-up. A dam near Darts Stream was blocking the flow of the Clarence River earlier today. The river has now broken its banks and a wall of water is heading downstream. Residents are being urged to seek higher ground immediately. The coming days will see more of the challenge as the clean-up continues. Tania, CTV News.
Well, there have been hundreds of aftershocks, some reaching over 6 on the Richter scale. This map shows some of the quakes over the past 48 hours before the big one struck near Hanmer Springs. There have been more than 400 since midnight this morning throughout the whole of the country, with 7 classed as severe. The effects of the earthquake only get worse the further north you go. Relief efforts have been ongoing all day in Kaikoura, while coastal suburbs in Christchurch were some of the many along the coastline that had to evacuate from the tsunami warnings.
Kaikoura has been labelled one of the worst affected areas following Monday morning's quake. More than 1,000 tourists are stranded in the town and the government is currently looking at options to get them out. Prime Minister John Key has been flown over the region to survey the damage. He says it's worse than he thought, just utter devastation. NH90s are preparing to take tons of food, water and other supplies to Kaikoura tomorrow. State Highway 1 has been closed due to a number of slips along the East Coast Road, cutting the township off for much of the day. The New Zealand Transport Agency is working with the District Council to open the inland road between Culverton and Kaikoura to get people out. They're hoping to have it open within days. A little closer to home, and coastal suburbs of Christchurch were involved in the tsunami evacuations around 2:30 this morning. This footage sent in from Matthew Winter of the Sumner evacuation. It's understood most coastal residents returned home a few hours later. The Kaikoura District Council has declared a local state of emergency just over an hour ago. Further recovery efforts will be directed their way in the coming days.
Well, as you've just heard, many near the coast were left slightly confused over the tsunami warning issued nearly 2 hours after the 7.5 earthquake struck. Up near Kaikoura, Civil Defence issued a warning of waves up to 2 metres high. Here's what some of the residents had to say here in eastern Christchurch, some who evacuated and others who stayed put.
They're doing what they had to do, doing their jobs, warning everybody, but I mean, my road was packed, man. Even if I got my car and left, I would have been sitting on that road for up to 30 minutes.
I thought I was actually dreaming, you know, you had this feeling that the whole thing was starting to move again, and I thought, what the hell is this? What is this going to be? But
the sirens started. That's when it was like, okay, could be serious. It took us a couple of hours, pretty much. I mean, it was really congested.
It was a long morning from midnight till 7 this morning, and the alarm system's still running.
So we packed up, took off, made our way out. Traffic bumper to bumper, especially out over the causeway.
I woke up, I went to Linwood, and I woke up and I could still hear them.
Really?
Yeah, well, I think it was till about like 7 or 8 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's quite nerve-wracking, really, because, yeah, sort of half asleep and then just felt the old house starting to sway around a bit. And I just rushed into the room, grabbed the boys, and yeah.
Was the wave coming? I would have floated away.
2 people were pulled alive from a flattened heritage building in Kaikoura, while another didn't survive. 100-year-old Margaret Edgar and her daughter-in-law were rescued from the Elms homestead near Kaikoura Airport. The person who died was Elgar's son. Kaikoura volunteer firefighters crawled beneath the rubble using hand tools and even a chainsaw to free the woman. A number of North Canterbury roads are slowly opening for use following this morning's earthquake. State Highway 1 from Cheviot all the way to the Marlborough town of Senan remains completely closed off to the public, while State Highway 7 from Waipara to Springs Junction has an area warning in place. The same goes for State Highway 7A from Springs Junction to Hanmer Springs. Drivers are urged to take extreme care if taking the route. A New Brighton family's night went from bad to worse after this morning's North Canterbury earthquake, arriving home after evacuating, only to find out that their house had been burgled. The Mill family were one of 4 burglaries reported to police, with thousands of dollars worth of goods stolen, including her daughter's medical equipment, who suffers from muscular dystrophy.
It'll be hard to find a family in Christchurch who's had a worse night than the Mill family. The earthquake bringing back tough memories of nearly 6 years ago, and now this burglary has made today even tougher.
Whoever did it is totally disgusting.
The Mill family have had a work truck, televisions and other valuable electronics stolen, to name a few, but Melissa Mill says the sentimental value outweighs the financial side.
Our GoPro, it was taken, so if we could have the memory chip back on that, that'd be great, because we've got whitewater rafting on there that, Alicia got to do. Our oldest daughter, all her Duke of Edinburgh video, pictures and everything.
Following the 4 burglary reports in Christchurch, Canterbury Police's John Price says it's extremely disappointing in a time when people are facing a traumatic event, others decide to take advantage like this. 12-year-old daughter Alicia suffers from a type of muscular dystrophy, and her Roger pen was also stolen. The pen allows her to hear as she is partially deaf.
Hugely important for her learning, so she can hear her teachers, so she can hear her classmates, so she can have the ability to learn like everybody else.
A small silver lining for the Mill family is the support they're receiving.
Yeah, I've heard people offering to come help clean. Just everything. Like, it's amazing. Like, New Brighton's an amazing community.
Police are still investigating all 4 burglaries. Sam Pickering, CTV News.
And that is CTV News for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Take care of each other, Canterbury. Kia kaha. Good night.
supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.